I wonder what it'd be like to, in my earlier days, what it'd be like to coach a Herschel Walker or a Bo Jackson or Jim Brown or somebody like that, and we got our chance.
I do not remember even now a guy who had a better blend of speed and power than Tyrone.
We're in the parking lot, and he's running through the parking lot, jumping over the hoods of the cars.
We was out here throwing the ball around one day. Somehow the ball, I don't know if somebody punted the ball and it went over the fence, and he took off and ran, and he literally jumped and put his feet on the gate, on the top of that gate over there, and jumped down on the other side, grabbed the ball, threw it back over the fence. I mean, just stuff like that. You like who does that? What about the long jump?
He jumped out of the pit. I do remember that. He jumped out of the pit.
We just like, this guy is not, he's not human. There's no way that he can jump that far.
Tony made a comment, our defensive coordinator, one time. He goes, "Bob, you've never seen anything like this guy." And he's absolutely right.
Preparing for him, as defensively, you can't simulate that in practice. Somebody that big and that fast, unless I would have put a kid on a four-wheeler or something and put him in the backfield.
It was touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. It was constantly, and the speed that he had.
He was above anybody that I'd ever seen in my life.
On the day Tyrone was born, God was working on the assembly line and he got bored. And when Tyrone came up, he said, this is going to be a good one. So he put a lot of resources in Tyrone.
Inkster, Michigan, a city about 20 miles west of Detroit, nestled up against the hustle and bustle of Detroit Metro Airport, a blue-collar city, a city then and now struggling to stay afloat. Tyrone Wheatley Jr. became Inkster's newest resident in 1972. 2 years later, his father was shot to death in Detroit. Tyrone's stepdad passed away 10 years later. His mother couldn't cope.
After the second death, she spiraled out, and substance abuse, struck our family really, really hard. And that really was, I would say, the pinnacle of, when you talk about spiral, that was it, the substance abuse.
Raised primarily by his grandmother, Tyrone's character revealed itself at an early age.
Now you're the man in the house. My brother and sister were now my main focal point. Everything else really didn't matter. It was just making sure that they were okay. So when that happened, it was second nature. I mean, you didn't blink an eye or think twice about it.
Outside the home, neighborhood competition ignited a passion.
And it all started off with just the neighborhood street Olympics, race street block from mailbox to mailbox or street pole to street pole, jumping over hedges to see who can jump the highest, throw the furthest. It was just that deal. We didn't know the actual distances, so sometimes you'll race an entire street block, and then we call that the 100 meters. Around the street block was our 400. Long jump was over the driveway. Those were the major ones. Inkster's not a real big city. I think population about 27,000, but within that little radius, man, I mean, it was like 5 or 6 cats out there that can whoop me on a regular basis, so, and that's what kind of make your day, you knock on the door, who's at the door? Oh, it's time for Tyrone to come out. He beat me yesterday, I gotta get him, and vice versa. I get beat, I can't wait, man. I'm knocking on your door, let's get this thing going.
They stayed on the west side of John Daly. I stayed on the east side. We did play the street against street football, but we didn't want to go to that side of the street to play because we knew he was over there. We didn't want any parts of that. He was too fast for us.
I ended up dropping out of school for a moment to take care of my brother and sister. And Allen Junior High, which was just across the street, which is no longer there, is where I attended junior high school. And of course, a lot of the guys would hang out up here at Robichaud, which was a summer deal where they had the pool open, the gym open, where you come, you pay $1, you can go swim, play basketball. And I would hang out up here a lot with my brother and my sister and just hang out. And Right on the field will be Yak and, you know, some of the older guys out there playing football. And then in here, Coach Ayler was a basketball coach at the time. He'll have open gym for some of the guys. And I'll sneak back and forth between the two. You know, every once in a while I take a football and I'll throw it just to show off, you know, hey man, you're not part of this practice, get out of here. And I take the ball and I'll throw it as far as I can. They were like, wow, he can throw the ball. Or come in here and mess with Ayler and the basketball guys, sneak in the layup line, and he'll kick me out. And right before he kicks me out, I'll dunk the basketball. So they were always saying, who is this little dude running around here wreaking havoc?
I was telling Bob Yalku, who at the time was principal and head football coach, I said, we have a phenom over in the middle school. And I said, we need to start nurturing him right now. I said, because he's gonna be something special.
It got to the point where Yak kind of took notice and said, hey, you know, what are you doing? Where are you at? And I just said, I'm not in school right now. And helped me get into school, and the rest was history.
Legends, Tyrone Wheatley, is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Possible is everything.
At Lawrence Technological University, you'll go way beyond the books. Professors with real-world experience deliver hands-on instruction in small classes, helping students land co-ops, internships, and research projects. By graduation, 80% of LTU students have jobs or plans to pursue master's degrees. And most Lawrence Tech grads earn more than their peers. So if you're ready to embrace your possibilities, we want you at LTU.
Companies need to reduce risk and protect assets with many levels of corporate intelligence gathering. Mackinac Partners business intelligence, due diligence, investigations, and corporate security practice can help businesses and investment firms avoid or mitigate risks. Mackinac Partners services are performed by experienced former Secret Service and FBI personnel that can identify vulnerabilities and respond to financial concerns, reputational issues, and cyber threats. Make informed decisions with Mackinac Partners.
Sneth Camp is Metro Detroit's original Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer, and we're still making the best deals every day. During the Chrysler Anniversary Celebration, lease a 200S for $139 a month for 24 months, or a 300 Limited for just $199. Celebrating 25 years of giving customers a superior buying experience. That's Sneth Camp on Telegraph Road in Redford.
Sneth Camp, Metro Detroit's original. Sneth Camp, Sneth Camp.
In the early 1990s, Tyrone Wheatley was a star running back at Michigan. He was a first-round draft pick and had a long career in the NFL. The odds were against all of this. There was nothing easy about Tyrone's upbringing.
Life was not given to him on a silver platter, as some may think. Tyrone came from a difficult upbringing, came from a home where he was raised by his grandmother. However, he was a very gifted athlete. He had to overcome a lot of obstacles. Before Tyrone got here, Robichaud was just Robichaud. It was just a regular school in the suburbs where, you know, students would just come to school. All of a sudden, when Tyrone became the big man on campus, and some of the negative stigma that Robichaud always received in the past turned into positive.
A 4-year starter on the football team, Tyrone played as many as 8 positions on both sides of the ball. From 1987 through 1990, Tyrone set 18 individual offensive records for Dearborn Heights Robichaud, 484 career points, 70 touchdowns, 4,257 career rushing yards. 15 years later, 15 school records are still unbroken.
And he could get going just like that, you know, so fast. And it was amazing. There are a lot of great players, and I wouldn't try to list them. I'd rank them right up at the top.
And he would run from one sideline and stop and come all the way back and outrun everybody to the other sideline and just go 80 yards for a touchdown. That was excitement.
His senior year, he had over 2,000 yards rushing. He had 36 touchdowns. 36 touchdowns. Some days you would just sit and be amazed, that's all. You know, you'd run a play and he'd run just hard enough to break into the open, and he conserved himself because he was so fast nobody could catch him.
We done it! Joe's going twice, he's going next year, he's going this year, baby.
Wheatley's senior year at Robichaud saw the Bulldogs go 8-1 during the regular season, winning by huge margins.
We wanted to mercy everybody. Let's get it over with. And we would say, don't book us for your homecoming. Please don't. Because they will not get to see the halftime band.
Victory for the Bulldog!
biscuits for everybody!
In the playoffs for only the third time in school history, Wheatley and the team leaders chose unconventional methods to stay ready.
We slept in the gym, we woke up, and the field was right there. We didn't have not far to go. We can watch everybody. It's time to go to sleep, and that's what we did.
They opened the postseason with a victory, but Tyrone injured his hand. As #1 Robichaud met #2 Marine City for the regional championship, the visiting Mariners were hoping Tyrone would be sidelined.
We actually probably lit candles, just in anticipation that maybe we don't want him hurt for a career, just the next 48 minutes on a Saturday.
We had a 7-point lead at the end of the third quarter, and as the fourth quarter started, we lined up for a field goal, and Tyrone timed it perfectly and jumped, literally hurdled our offensive line, blocked the field goal, and they got the ball at midfield. 2 plays later, they scored, missed the extra point. We were still up by a point, and then basically it turned into where we'd have the ball 5, 6, 7 plays and punt, and then he'd have it for 1 or 2 and score.
They knew that he was going to get the ball. We knew, everybody in the stands knew, there was nothing they could do. He had the ability to just take over a football game within minutes.
Robichaud won the game 41-27.
In our team huddle afterwards, Coach Bob mentioned, fellas, nothing to hang your head about. I think this young man someday is going to play on Sunday.
They can always tell their kids they played against Tyrone Wheatley.
On Thanksgiving weekend 1990 and in the Pontiac Silverdome, Dearborn Heights Robichaud went on to win the school's first and only state championship. The second part of that still bugs Tyrone today.
When you build something, you want it to be maintained. You want it to be built upon, refurbished, and hope to see at least 5 or 6, 7, because now all of a sudden your school becomes that proverbial powerhouse, not a one-hit wonder, and not good.
Tyrone Wheatley's athletic prowess did not begin and end with football. He was a 3-sport star. Just barely 6 feet, he could dunk a basketball as early as middle school. Then there was track and field, Tyrone's favorite sport, an insatiable love of competition that began in the neighborhood.
Hey, he's fast. Who's fast? No, Jim's fast. Nah, he's not that fast. Well, let's line up and let's go. Then you get cocky, you get a little arrogant, you get your 2-foot head start. Then all of a sudden, the word gets out, man, he beat Jim, man. Jim fast, beat Jim by 2 feet. With a 2-foot head start. Then all of a sudden you increase the head start. Then you say, okay, I want to run. So my freshman year, okay, I have some success and I go to the state meet and I get my butt whooped, absolutely creamed. And so track coach Flannery and Late Jones says, hey, it's one thing to have talent, but to marry talent with skill, now you're cooking with something.
He taught himself how to run the high hurdles in about 3 weeks. And he won the state championship 2 months after he first learned how to run them. I had him shot put for me. He is the #4 shot putter in all time at Robichaud. And he was just, sometimes track guys, they do other events just in practice. He said, let me try this shot put. And he was putting it out farther than my regular guys.
There was nothing quite like the performance at the state track championship meet his junior year. Tyrone wanted to run 4 events in one afternoon.
I was looking for him to break some records, which he did. However, I wasn't going to have him go 4 events all along. That's a pretty tall order.
Are you sure you want to do this? You have 3 races to run in 100, 3 races to run 200, 3 races to run, and the 110s. Do you understand what the orders are? The hurdles, the 100 meters, and the 200. I said, yeah, let's go.
He won the long jump, so that tells he's explosive, and he won the 100, the 200, and the 110s, and he made a joke out of all of them, and he scored 40 out of 41 points, and they won the state track meet.
When I saw that, I'm like, this guy could do any event. If he wanted to run the 2 mile, he probably could if he wanted to. After the competition, I'll never forget this. Kids his own age were coming to him. Tyrone, would you sign my shoe? Would you sign my program? Would you sign my shirt? Would you sign my, and he graciously signed it, and he was looking at me like, Mr. Jones, what am I supposed to do? I said, well, be nice, and if they want your signature, give it to them.
He would have done it his senior year except he pulled his hamstring and he couldn't finish the 200 because he won the 100, the 110 hurdles, and the long jump his senior year. So he would have gone 2 years to win 4 events without pulling that hamstring. And like I said, I've seen a lot. I've gone to a lot of state track meets, and that was the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Tyrone Wheatley graduated a 9-time track and field state champ. Hear Tyrone Wheatley talk about the significance of this tree that sits next to the football field at State Champs TV's YouTube page. Legends will return.
Fundraising should be fresh, flavorful, and simple. We have the perfect solution at Hungry Howie's, Dough Raiser. Your nonprofit organization can sell paper pizza certificates that your customers can redeem for 1 medium pizza at participating Hungry Howie's locations. Go to doughraiser.com to learn about, sign up for, and order everything Dough Raiser. Request a Dough Raiser kit for your group today. Your next fundraiser comes with flavored crust. Welcome to Hungry Howie's Dough Raiser.
Professional electrical contractors are not all the same. Experience a new level of service from blueprint to warranty with Gemini Electric. For over 24 years, Gemini Electric has served industries across Michigan.
Gemini always provides high quality workmanship at a fair price, and they always deliver on time.
I've been using Gemini Electric for years and can count on them for service work at any of my facilities.
When you need an electrical contractor, contact the experienced professionals at Gemini Electric.
All right, class, settle down. Let's review. At Sarah Chevrolet in Southfield, you always get
more money for your trade.
How much more, CJ?
Up to 1,000 more in Kelly Blue Book.
And if you're in a lease, Sarah can help you do what?
Get out of your lease early?
Ow! CJ, see me after class.
Lease a 2016 Cruze for just $99 a month or a 2015 Equinox for just $84. Right now at Sarah Chevrolet in Southfield.
How many times?
Just keep writing.
Before the NBA draft, Andre Drummond was labeled a project. If you're not in school and labeled a project, don't give up. Get back in the game with the Back on Track program. This free program allows students to get valuable on-site vocational training, earn a diploma online with a flexible schedule, or take one class at a time until you graduate. We have year-round enrollment, so it's not too late.
Don't let a label keep you down. Grab the rebound and score with the Back on Track program.
Call 855-512-3212 or go to backontrack.education for more information.
In 1990 and 91, Dearborn Heights Robichaud football, basketball, and track star Tyrone Wheatley was one of the most sought-after recruits in the country. During the recruiting period, college scouts practically lived at Robichaud. Boxes of letters came in. The process was not as overwhelming as you might think for Tyrone.
I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't know. I didn't know what an offer was. Like, it was funny because I'm talking to my sons about this. They was like, Dad, how many offers did you have? I said, honestly, I don't know. Because my high school coach handled a lot of it. And, you know, the mail came through and you just read a lot of the mail. I mean, I had mail from everywhere. You know, I would get these questionnaires and I would fill out all the questionnaires and I would send them back to schools, and coaches would be like, we didn't figure you'll sign this and send it back. I was like, why not? I mean, it's a questionnaire. And they just looked at me like, he doesn't get it, which I did. I had no clue.
As signing day approached his senior year, the question was, where? Ty's academic advisor played a pivotal role.
And you may or may not know, while he was here at Robichaud High School, the young man wore green and white to school every single day. And he was convinced that that was going to be his future, Michigan State University.
One of our girl athletes that was going to was Michigan, and then he was always cracking on her.
We were in, I believe it was a math class together. He got a FedEx package in class, and it was his tickets for his official visit to Colorado, because he was highly considering Colorado at the time also.
There was a real emphasis and passionate pursuit of Tyrone to Michigan.
And I remember having this conversation with Lloyd Carr and Gary Moeller. And they said, listen, we're having Tyrone Wheatley up for a visit. Well, what is it we need to do? I said, well, there's 3 things. I says, I know that Tyrone wants to go into kinesiology. I said, show him that department. He goes, great, I can do that. I said, second of all, I says, Tyrone has been lied to a lot in his lifetime. Whatever you do, whatever he asks you, do not lie to Tyrone Wheatley. I says, be truthful to him, whatever he asks you. He goes, I can do that. I says, and third, I says, that weekend he's coming up to visit you? I said, it's his birthday weekend. Show him a good time. He goes, we can do that.
When I talk to football coaches and they start talking football, you lost me. You know, it's one of those deals where you get off the phone with one coach, you pick up the phone, it seemed like it's the same guy, same recording, different voice, different school. And it just started sounding like Charlie Brown. Want, 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 want. Moeller, we talked about everything. Life, you know, my opinions, you know. He would call me goofy, he was like, you're a goofball, you know, but he listened to what my opinions were, and it was just more than just football.
He had a maturity about him. You know, he didn't get blown away by all the people who wanted him, by all the people who were telling him how great he was. He was really a good listener. You know, he was not one of those guys that was going to tell you what you wanted to hear.
At the end of the day, it was more of a personal relationship more so than a football marriage or relationship. You know, it became very personal.
He calls me. I said, well, how'd it go? He goes, Miss Herson, he goes, wow, they got this great kinesiology department. I goes, do they really? I said, wow, that's really awesome. He goes, yeah, he goes, and guess what? He goes, the guys were great. He goes, I roomed with, you know, he gave me these football players' names, you know, he goes, they are great guys, and he said the coaches were great. He goes, they answered a bunch of my questions, and he goes, and guess what? He goes, on Saturday night, he goes, I don't know how they knew, he goes, they had a birthday party for me. He goes, did you tell them? I said, Tyrone, I says, I didn't tell him a word. He goes, yes, you did, Miss Herson. I goes, well, I guess maybe I did. He goes, it was fun, I had a great time. He goes, you know, he goes, they were really open and honest with me. He goes, I never thought I'd say this, Miss Herson. He goes, but, he goes, can I come to your classroom Monday after school? I said, yeah, I'll see you Monday after school. So Monday after school, I back right up here, room 204. He and I had a conversation. And I goes, well, tell me about the weekend. So we talked about it. He goes, the problem is that can you keep a secret? And I said, you know I can. He goes, don't tell us all. I said, I promise you I won't. He goes, I never thought I'd say this. He says, but I'm going to Michigan. I said, go Blue.
When we come back, Tyrone Wheatley takes his talent to the next level and beyond. This is Legends.
At Lawrence Technological University, you'll go way beyond the books. Professors with real-world experience deliver hands-on instruction in small classes, helping students land co-ops, internships, and research projects. By graduation, 80% of LTU students have jobs or plans to pursue master's degrees. And most Lawrence Tech grads earn more than their peers. So if you're ready to embrace your possibilities, we want you at LTU.
Companies need to reduce risk and protect assets with many levels of corporate intelligence gathering. Mackinac Partners business intelligence, due diligence, investigations, and corporate security practice can help businesses and investment firms avoid or mitigate risks. Mackinac Partners services are performed by experienced former Secret Service and FBI personnel that can identify vulnerabilities and respond to financial concerns, reputational issues, and cyber threats. Make informed decisions with Mackinac Partners.
Smith Camp is Metro Detroit's original Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer, and we're still making the best deals every day. During the Chrysler Anniversary Celebration, lease a 200S for $139 a month for 24 months, or a 300 Limited for just $199. Celebrating 25 years of giving customers a superior buying experience. That's Smith Camp on Telegraph Road in Redford.
Smith Camp, Metro Detroit's original. Smith Camp, Smith Camp.
By the time Tyrone Wheatley began his career at the University of Michigan, it only validated what everybody who'd watched him play in high school knew. He was destined to be a star. He earned Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year in 1992. He was the best player on the gridiron in the 1993 Rose Bowl. He was named All Big Ten in football and track, All-American in the 110 hurdles that earned him a spot at the Olympic trials. Tyrone Wheatley was a first-round draft pick of the New York Giants, and through 10 seasons with the Giants, Miami, and Oakland, Ty totaled 6,500 all-purpose yards as a running back and kick returner. Tyrone nominated Millie Herson as the NFL Teacher of the Year, in which she placed in the top 2, honored during a Giants-Lions game in the late 90s at the Silverdome. In 2007, he returned to coach his alma mater, Dearborn Heights Robichaud. Under his leadership, Robichaud reached the playoffs for the first time since 1994.
He's a success story, you know, of everybody, you know, tough upbringing, hard work and dedication, going to school and school not being for you, and then finding the track, having people help you along the way to guide you in the right direction, and then making it to the collegiate level and performing at a high level and going to the NFL for 10 years. That's a story, that's a dream story, but his story didn't end there, you know, and now he's giving back. He came back to Robichaud and coached the kids in track and football, and then went on to the collegiate level and is making an impact at that level as well. But still not losing touch and coming back and having conversations with our kids and with administrators and people, just to know that his heart is still at home and his home is at Robichaud High School.
Life has come full circle. Tyrone Wheatley is back at Michigan as the running backs coach. But there's another Wheatley on the roster, a Tyrone Wheatley, his son.
I think it was, you know, God's plan for me, because I was not looking at Michigan, and then just the way everything kind of worked out right around signing day. So I was like, hey, this is where I'm supposed to be at, so why not? My whole family's here. I mean, they're 10 minutes down the road. I get to see my brothers, my sisters, my mom, so this thing's gonna be a lot of fun, and hopefully we turn this thing around.
I'm excited because, you know, the unknown. It's to write that chapter, to have a say-so in the writing of your own chapter, in your own book, and also in what this great historical place means, and being a part of it, to be an author in this as well. You know, just excited.
Whether it's looking in through the face mask or looking out of the face mask, I mean, he's done both and seen both, and you know, a lot of qualities. Knows the game, and he's a great advice giver and good football coach.
Tyrone Wheatley is a family man. Tyrone Wheatley has always put his family first, and I'm very proud of him. And, you know, I think that's a reflection of how he was in high school. In high school, you didn't really see him get caught up with in trouble with the law either. You know, he was never that way. Tyrone Wheatley has an amazing wife. She's a very family-oriented woman. Her name is Kim, and they have 5 children, and he's raised 5 children well.